Okay, I'll call this Board of Assessors meeting to order. We don't have any citizens, so we have no citizens' comments. Approve the consent calendar. Do we have a motion for that?
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor? Passes. We have official action on the abatements of personal property. We can either choose to accept those individually or as a group.
I move we accept them as a group. The amounts are relatively immaterial. They relate to equipment that's no longer around in some cases and isn't owned in other cases, so I think it's safe to say that we should just go ahead with what the recommendation of our assessor is.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion on that? Any questions on these abatements? Then we have a motion. All in favor? The next item is tree growth. We have one tree growth request here. Do we have a motion on that?
I would move acceptance. The property's been examined by a forester. A plan is in place. It meets the requirements of the statute. Not all of the land is being put into forestry. I think 10 acres of softwood will stay out.
Yep.
So I see no reason not to proceed with it.
Any other discussion on that? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Just, I had earlier said the last one we did was at the end of the Reef Road. This is at the end of Poverty Lane.
Oh,
We
okay.
had already done the other one. So
Okay.
This
Is that,
is Schumann,
Yeah.
right? It was the Schumann farm.
oh, okay, it wasn't Burles.
Yes.
Earls.
And he lived up above. His widow still lives up here.
I get you.
Yep, here we go.
Yep.
So I just correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We've had a motion, we've had a second. Is there any more discussion?
Who seconded?
I did.
Catherine? All in favor? Okay. 4.3, we're going to be setting the 2022 tax rate. So, Daryl, do you have some discussion for us on that?
In the back of your packet, you should have last year's. I'll give you those numbers. It's last year at the top, and we were at 1820. And the big changes on there is the revenue sharing was at 250. It is now at 622,500, so that was up 372,000. As well as the other revenues up 376,000. So given that scenario, you can stay with the exact same rate for the third year in a row, but the overlay would be 341,418 if you did that. And then you can drop on down 20 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, depending on.
Where is the safe number? I see you get 20 cents on here.
I like round numbers. 18 is just a beautiful number in my book, but
What does the 20 cents drop us as far as increased revenue? You said it's 300 and some odd thousand?
so the 20.
The overlay.
The overlay would be 341 if we stayed the same. It would drop to 239.
Okay.
Um,
Now that affects our cushion, I guess you'd call it.
It would go into undesignated and
Right.
be available next year to offset or use to
Yeah.
fund something.
Is that, can we afford that? Is what I'm questioning. Are we gonna
I
have
knew
that?
you were gonna ask that. What is inflation going to do? I mean, see, we're at this tipping point where What do you think? I don't have the ball.
I
know, it's hard.
I don't
It's
wanna go
hard.
too far. I mean, I don't mind dropping it a little bit, just like Daryl said, go to 18. But
Yeah.
if, he said you could potentially go to 30 or 40, but if
It's
we do
a tough
that, then we're
call
gonna-
because
it would look, it's gonna look good if we get our taxes start to drop a little bit because of these other projects that are coming in, we're making
Daryl,
more
how
money
is
at.
the reassessment going to affect this next year?
The rate's gonna drop because the values are going up. But there again, it depends on what you have to raise in revenues. In theory, we could double everybody's value, the rate would drop in half, and everybody would pay the same tax.
Mhm.
But it would be 9 mils instead of 18, that's not gonna happen.
Right.
No, I was just curious. It's my first revow with you.
They give a scenario that a third go up, a third go down, and the others stay the same. But
That's the theory I've always been told.
how,
How has that played out for you over the years?
I haven't actually
Experienced that?
figured that out. Usually there's something else that comes into play. You buy a new fire truck or something, so everybody's taxes goes up and nobody's goes down, even though when you revow. I mean, usually there's so many factors that go into it.
I got you. Bob had his hand up, Jan.
Oh,
Sort of around this discussion we're having, it is kind of a throw of the dice, isn't it? I mean, you're recommending 18, so you're suggesting we go down 20 cents. There must be a reason for that. I guess you're assuming that property values, you're not going to do any reassessing this year, are you?
Not, these bills
So-
will go out next week.
Right, so we're locked into the base we have.
Yes.
We're locked into the base we have
Yep.
right now.
And if values do go up and we kept the rate the same, people would end up paying more taxes on the next cycle,
Yeah, the rate will have to come down.
next year.
Yeah, you can only raise 5%.
5%,
overlay,
right.
And you'd be over that.
So would it not be a little more circumspect to just leave it where it is? And I'm suggesting we do what Abden noted earlier, build our balance a little more so that if we do end up changing things next year, we have a little more playroom.
So how much do you need? Because that would give you $341,000, which
Yeah,
is
but-
very large.
Right, and that's why I said if we drop to the 20, what was the number, 230 something?
239.
So I
Yeah.
mean, and that's why I asked
Right.
Julie if 239 was good enough for a safe cushion for next year's.
Yeah, I understand, but our objective is to build that fund balance up to so many days.
Right, but
I think our objective is 60, we're at like 45 right now, or we've been around 45.
Yep.
This might get us to the 60.
Well, but I need you to understand too. We are going into, as good as we've been, these are uncertain times. And we have a contract to renegotiate with DPW and police. And tonight you're going to hear about EMS issues. So we need to be mindful that even though we have the ARPA money that we only used half of this time and we'll have for next time, we also don't know what revenue sharing looks like.
So those are two more good reasons not to change it. I'm just suggesting that.
I'm just saying it's none of this is, if I had the crystal ball, we really, it's a tough one this time around because we don't know what the economy is going to do.
Well, given uncertainties, I feel it's more comfortable staying where we are rather than taking a bet on where we think we're going to be, given.
But if the reval comes back in and we've already adjusted a little bit, we won't have to adjust as much on the other end after the reval, correct? So we could make that up next year as well. I mean, we don't have, instead of dropping 0.5%, 0.3%, on the other end,
Just to give you the history of the 40 years that I've been here.
The 40 years, you had to throw that in.
2012, we did collect 317,000 in overlay, and in 13, we collected 267,000 in overlay. Prior to that, it was like a $14,000 or a $15,000 overlay. I mean, we basically went as low, those boards went as low as they could.
What would be the reduction, 20 to 18, 20 to 18 on an average?
It's like a little over 100,000,
Would be
125.
Yeah, you've got it right on your sheets. They actually look at, I gave you your personal sheet in there.
Yeah, you reduce ours by $120 a year.
So it's $20.
Yeah.
Is what-
Oh, I got you. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're doing.
Yep, $20, which means
And I
$40.
gave one where you're living at, I believe, Will, so you can look at that sheet and just show you what.
The sheet that was like this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would just show you what the different rates. See what they're paying now and where they go down, depending on rate. 239 should do it, 341 is plenty of, or you can, like you say, you can leave it the same, it'd be the same for 3 years, we might keep it the same the fourth year, and kind of levels it out.
Yeah, anywhere from 30 to $58, 69 on one.
Most of the things you read in the paper, they dropped it, but they dropped it $20, you know, it did go down.
Taxes here are so much less than they are in Rangeley at a camp. It just always boggles my mind when I have to write out that big check.
Rangeley doesn't have a whole lot up there other than waterfront. Lots of woods,
Got a big mountain back again.
yes.
Just my opinion, but I'd just soon go to the 18, just for a little bit of relief, and make the adjustment not as much when you do the reval. Just my opinion.
What did we do last year? Our taxes went down.
Stayed the same.
It stayed the same last year, and then the year before that,
Well,
they were
last
small.
year, they stayed the same, but the homestead went from 20 to 25.
Oh, and that, so,
So most people saw a
Most people saw-
$5,000 reduction
yeah,
by staying the same.
yeah, yeah. Well, that does make people smile and have good thoughts about us as a town when we do that.
And we're still gonna have a pretty good overlay. So, almost 240,000, so. Hopefully things don't go up super. But like I said, there again, when we have the reval, we can make that adjustment there as well.
Yep.
Instead of taking a huge chunk, we may not be able to take a huger chunk to offset that.
I thought they put revenue sharing back where it had been.
Yes, but the issue becomes, what's the future hold for the next year? That's that crystal ball. I mean, this
Yeah.
summer was a good season,
But they won't be changing the formula for,
not at least for
that.
another year.
no, you're right, that's good news. And also, school funding finally made it to its goal of 55 state. That's been on the books for many years as a law that has never been completed, but that got completed this year. That's always helpful.
So you have one at 18.
I go with 18 just because it's not a large amount, but it gives a feeling of working for the community it still gives us a hefty amount in our undesignated fund. Do you have any thoughts, Will? Your first time
Yeah.
doing this, so it's, you know, I understand it's difficult just even
It is. I
to
don't wanna say
understand all these numbers.
giving an uncertain future, but I think we have an obligation if we can lower it a little bit, make people happy. So, I mean, I think the 18's pretty fair.
Daryl, your recommendation, it's not just because you like the number 18, correct?
Yes, it is. I like an even tax rate.
Okay.
I like it. If I can get an even tax rate. 18 is an even rate with no sense.
He's honest.
Okay, so
Yeah.
your professional recommendation, aside from that,
18.
is 18, okay.
My real recommendation, you ought to go down to 1760 and only have 34,000 in overlay, because that's all you're gonna need, and let next year worry about itself. Go as low as you can go.
That's your real recommendation.
That's my historical recommendation as the assessor. See, your taxes went down
Okay,
$60.
But then they'll turn around and go back up next year because your
Yeah.
right.
your
Your
values
yeah.
went through the roof. Yeah. I'd rather go down a little bit, and then maybe if we can go down a little bit next time, then take a huge jump now, then go back up, and they'll be screaming and
Now
hollering.
keep the line so that it's not.
Yes.
The crazy part, Will, is the last time we adjusted, we had to lower on the waterfront down there because they were selling at 300 and not 400. Now they're asking 700,000 down there.
So, yeah.
If we have to go up with those numbers, they haven't got them yet, but if a dozen of them sell for that range, it's like,
And they have been. They have been selling.
not at 700. They can sell them at 500 pretty easily. They aren't selling at 700, but they're asking, so.
A house I found today, a house in West Bath on the water, went on the market at 725. It sold with one bid at over $1 million. Shocked the seller.
It's location.
On the water, we're
It's
talking on the
it
water,
doesn't
yeah.
matter, no, it's that way.
Oh, well,
You're
that's
not
not too
getting the
far,
prices
yeah.
here. You're
Right,
not
not
gonna get
yet.
those prices here, guaranteed.
Yeah, but West Bath was never a big,
Yeah.
not like Pittsburgh and Georgetown and those places.
It is now.
West Bath was,
Like my boy,
Yeah.
when he bought his house in Topsom, I would have never paid $250,000 for the place he bought. It wasn't worth $175,000.
Yeah.
Wasn't even worth that,
oh, yeah,
but it's location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
well, Waldoboro, I've been looking at houses,
Yep.
and you're talking about doubling values. That sounds pretty typical of what I've seen.
Well, not that bad.
Well, looking at
Probably-
the tax
probably
rate
40
and
to
what people are
50%.
asking, it's,
40 to 50% more.
it's been a lot.
Yep.
It's quite a bit.
So Daryl, your professional recommendation is,
18.
okay.
Can we get a motion?
I'll make that motion, to go to 18%.
Okay, any more discussion?
But no, Bob's not happy.
No, I believe in stability. I'm going to stay where I am. I'll be voting against this, but my hearts are with every one of you. And I hope you're absolutely right and I'm wrong.
Well put. All in favor? Any opposed?
One.
Any opposed because we should stay the same, not lower.
I think we should stay the same.
Okay, all right, that's on record now. And-
Adjourn.
We need a motion to adjourn.
So
I'd
moved.
make- Second.
All in favor? Okay,
We just have to give a moment to go into executive session too.
thank you for that, Daryl.
So, on the
were there. Oh, yeah, because we have to go into executive session. As soon as
Well,
they
you
meet.
gotta be in.
You want a motion?
They need a motion. We're waiting for a motion.
I'd move an executive session pursuant to 4056F as Philbrook Fund trustees.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
We didn't have to go into a regular meeting before we did a,
Yeah, you have to open the meeting,
Yeah.
then go into executive session.
yes. So, no, to open our regular meeting and then we get a,
Point
All
taken.
right, sorry about that.
okay.
Call the meeting to order. So I'm going to convene into executive session. Would you reread that, Bob?
Sure, pursuant to 4056F to discuss Philbrook Fund trustees' applications.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?